coming to you live and in color from the dangerous backdrop of California.
This is the danger with doing it in a public place.
Yes.
That our balcony apparently is.
Somebody's boiling Fred Flintstone vitamins. I'm sure they're cooking, but they should stop.
Somebody's gonna come snatch us up with all these
And I'm gonna tell them to their face, you quit it. What's your day job? Yeah, stick to it.
Okay, so special edition Wine Wednesday. Who would have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it? We're trying to switch it up. You know what I'm saying?
We're
also,
giving you locations.
Standing, bust a wine and then standing is just...
I know that you think that our Wine Wednesdays are a tight 15 minutes.
Oh, there are 47 billion minutes that we condense down.
And minutes of content.
If it's less than 15, you're welcome. We're trying to be a little leaner, but it's tough.
Well, we got all this good information, so why not make it like, you know?
Yes.
If we hit you with an hour-long Wine Wednesday, I expect you to watch the whole thing. That's all I'm saying.
I just want a little bit of support.
A little bit of support.
That accent was good! That accent was really good!
All right, we are drinking a very special brand today.
Let's get the bottle. Let me get the bottle. Actually, let's get the one that says Black Girl Magic. Hello. Ow. Let me get that. Yes.
So we are drinking from the McBride sisters, who have locations in both California and New Zealand, and you will find out why, because we are going to provide you with all the information, baby.
And we really want to do more Black-owned wine brands, Black-owned everything, Black-owned, 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 Black.
Much like Issa Rae said, everything Black.
Everything Black. Okay.
What I will say is, in these times of social change and social injustice, even though I am not Black, I am a person of color, and I want to stand in support of my Black and brown sisters in the wine industry.
We're not focused. Sorry. There we go. God damn it.
We have to remain supportive of each other, and there are so few Black-owned wineries in Napa and beyond. It is shocking. Let me share those details with you today. Do I sound like a news report?
Listen, that's what we're giving you guys the facts, the nitty-gritty. Even in fine dining, there's very few Black-owned restaurants, people of color-owned restaurants, though they be working the kitchens. But we're gonna get to that in a little bit. But
why don't we talk about the McBride sisters and how interesting they are as a group, as a pair, as sisters, as siblings, as women.
Yes, the McBride Sisters Wine Company. So one of the coolest things about these sisters is that they met when they were grown adults. So they have
some real parent trap shit, y'all.
Real parent trap shit. So they're half sisters, different mothers, same fathers, and they actually didn't even know about each other. So one of them grew up in Napa, the other in New Zealand. Sorry, back up. Robin and Andrea McBride. That would help to say their names. Robin and Andrea McBride.
So one sister has a New Zealand accent.
That's my question, because I couldn't find like interviews, but I'm 100% sure.
Funny.
I'll double check.
God, can you imagine being the listen? All I'm saying is if I had a sister with a British accent,
I would murder her.
I'd be so upset.
I would murder her and take her identity. What? So we have Robin and Andrea McBride, who are the founders of McBride Sister Wine Company. On some real parent trap shit, they met in 1999 when they were grown adults. They didn't even know about each other. So one of them grew up in New Zealand, the other one grew up in Napa. And they both grew up in wine country, loving the art of winemaking. And so they met up and started this wine company from their little adventure. I was reading a little bit about them, and they are the first Black sister-owned, so sibling-owned winery, wine company. And it's amazing. We're really happy to try things that are Black women-led, and their whole thing is sustainability. So they really focus on sustainable wine practices because they do operate in both New Zealand and in Napa. I saw that they do have, I think actually their Pinot Grigio is, I'm making that up. One of them is sourced in New Zealand. So yeah.
Well, this it says that this rosé is actually from New Zealand.
There you go. I knew it was one of them.
So this rosé is from Hawke's Bay in New Zealand. Very, very popular wine growing area, and it's really exciting that Black women have a presence there.
Yes.
It's really exciting. Like, I can't describe the feeling to you of when I see a black or brown woman at a winery, not only working there, but also just going to visit. Seeing people of your skin tone going to visit in a place where it is predominantly white, it really is jarring, and it like takes you a second to be like, why do I feel like this?
Yeah, especially when it's a really a recreational space, right? You're voluntarily going to a wine tasting, or you know, just going for shits and giggles, and you step into a predominantly white space, even though it's a consumer space, and that can be really jarring. So it's always exciting to see black and brown people at wineries, and I highly encourage. I think that the wine business is very gatekept. There's like this bouginess about it. Do you have the palate, bitch? Do you?
Do you?
And I think wine, like food, like everything in life, there are very few things like music and food and wine that are universal, and weed that are universal and transcend. So why would you want to gatekeep that? So to my black people, to my brown people watching this, fuck what you heard, go to that winery.
Honestly.
Because we being industry professionals, we've gone to wineries and people are like, can we help you? You most assuredly can. No, grab this wine cup, follow me. So
And I do want to say, there is no length of money that Genesis and I will stop at
to embarrass someone.
And to embarrass someone.
What? Yes, I did run up this bill to embarrass you.
To embarrass you on this.
And you didn't get no commission because I asked for you to be taken off the bill. Anyway,
big mistake.
Huge. So really excited to try this McBride Sisters, and I want to read a little bit from their website on why they chose to name this collection Black Girl Magic. Black Girl Magic is a term that's used a lot, that's right. Is a term that's used, but what is it? Black Girl Magic is a concept and a movement that was popularized by Keshawn Thompson in 2013 as a way to celebrate the power and the beauty of black women. So this is what their wine encapsulates. It's that black girl magic from a black winemaker. And also, one of the things that I really like about the McBride Sisters, and they talk about the black consumer and how they're trying to engage the black consumer into purchasing more wines, and to have a wine experience. I think that's one of the things that we like to do with Wine Wednesday. Like, we're not sitting here and being like, yes, she's a great, like, we really want to bring consumable information so that everybody can try wine, so you feel confident booking that wine tasting, or when you're at Publix, Safeway, Kroger, whatever, in your small town, mom and pop, Publix again, you feel confident.
And if you don't see something that is being offered to you, make it for yourself. These women made it for themselves.
Yes.
And they really have come up with a brand that so many black women can love and appreciate, and it's just really exciting to be seen by that industry. And I can only imagine being ignored by every other industry. I mean, I'm a bitch, so maybe sometimes I am being ignored and then I don't care, but to be seen by the wine industry, especially from black people, it is really important. And I know that we joke around and we play rap and we shake our asses, but hip-hop in the rap community is not a monolith in the black community.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the times wine industry will only cater to that monolith,
to that perception.
So we thought we would also take the time to talk about brown and black people in the wine industry as well, not only as consumers, but people that take up the space as winemakers and people that work in the industry. It's not often that you see a black winemaker, a black owner of a winery. What was the percentage?
So in the US, there are about 11,000 wineries. 1% of those wineries are owned by black people or black led.
And I think it's even worse than that. I think it's 1% of 1%.
Yeah, literally. So like, imagine out of 1,100, wait, what did I say? 11,000? 11,000, yes. Less than 10 black people are winemakers, or, you know, and the thing that you have to think about is, I think that the wine industry is very gatekept in terms of like, are you educated enough, are you bougie enough to be part of this, but then also financially gatekept. You need a smooth $5 million to have vineyards. Even if you have a small mom and pop winery, it takes money, and you're sitting on the grapes waiting for it to ferment before you have some return on investment. So it's a huge gamble, you know. It's just like owning a restaurant.
Yeah. And there is also this stereotype that black people in general really only like sweet wine, and that does come from largely the hip-hop Black community. There was such a surge in Moscato
Yes.
purchases. In 2010, there was 100% increase in Moscato purchases because of the music of Nicki Minaj, Rick Ross, Waka Flocka, and in 2011 it was 70%. So Black people really have the power to move markets.
Yeah, and it wasn't because it was an exceptional wine. It was because Black consumers drive money, period. I mean, when even in my company, Redacted, when we were talking about Redacted, they were giving information about how once you get Black consumers to purchase your item, to even talk about your item, they drive the culture. Black culture is American culture, and whatever Black people and the Black demographic buy, that is what general Americans buy. So the wine industry is trying to get more Black consumers because, you know, if Black people start talking about it in pop culture, it's going to drive money. It's really interesting how brands who don't really care about Black people leverage Black consumers to make money. Put your money where your mouth is. Every time you spend money, you're saying something. Buy Black Girl Magic from McBride Sisters and say with your money, I'm investing in Black owned businesses.
Amen.
Yeah.
I just want to read this really interesting quote that I found in a Forbes article about Black Lives Matter and the wine industry. It came out in June, so I found a lot of articles that came out in June talking about Black people in the wine industry. People were going through this huge change in their own fields of how do we speak to the Black consumer, and a lot of it was all emotion removed.
Yeah.
Which is the most ironic part to me, because it's like, why are we even having this conversation then? If it's purely because you just want to get back on the horse and like keep it pushing like nothing happened, why are we even having this conversation?
A lot of it is reactive. It wasn't proactive. Like, this brand came out 2 years ago. This wasn't something that they put out trying to appeal to Black Lives Matter. This was something that organically came from two Black women. So you know, I've noticed that to a lot of wine brands, a lot of food brands, a lot of brands period are reacting to Black Lives Matter and be like, oh my god, no, we like Black people.
Black people, what are you talking about?
Like, I fucked a Black person
once
in college
when I was 19. What are you talking about? All right, I just want to read this really interesting quote by Adam Grant. He's a professor of organizational psychology at Wharton. He wrote, just as sexism is not only a women's issue, racism is not only a Black issue. More and more Black people are entering the world of wine, and it is up to white people of the wine sector.
Well, I'm sorry, run that back. Go ahead.
It is up to the white people in the wine sector to step up and overcome the implicit Black bias in our ranks. Some of that bias includes believing that all Black consumers like sweet wine, or that they cannot afford or appreciate pricier bottles. One of the most common aggressions we have heard anecdotally of Black wine professionals being identified as service staff rather than qualified members of the trade or press at wine tastings.
And that with that knowledge, with those biases, they still want your Black dollar.
They still want your Black dollar. And I will remind you of them. Just because they have that pretty little hashtag BLM
don't mean shit.
And don't mean shit. And I think it's really become so much more clear in these past few months who rides for Black lives and who doesn't. Come on.
All right, so why don't we get into the wines, baby?
Just to remind y'all what we're sipping on.
We are sipping. Let me just click on it. Click on it. Click on it. So we are drinking the 2018 Brut Rose. I actually love Brut Roses or Bruts.
Brut Rose.
Brut Rose.
Which means that it's a semi...
yes. I don't know.
Which means that it's not super sweet. That's basically what it means. Dry, essentially. And dry means non-sweet. God, maybe we should talk about wine terms.
Oh, maybe we should.
We should.
Another video.
Yeah.
But I love the sparkling. It's really yummy.
It's a very it's very light, very crisp, and it doesn't like. This is one of those wines that I feel like I could drink 3 bottles of.
Oh, absolutely. And like when I try to, like, if I take a sip. Well, first, what do you pick up on the nose? Not
I'm
a lot.
getting like strawberry and like maybe stone fruit. an apricot or a peach.
I'm getting stone fruit when I taste it, like on the back end.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of stone fruit. I wasn't able to find tasting notes on the website. They do have an amazing Black Girl Magic Rosé, but this is the Brut Rosé. So crisp and light.
So crisp, has really nice acidity, and it could go perfectly with any meal.
Some spicy food by itself, like we're currently doing.
Should we just not have dinner and just like drink all the wine?
And then we also have their Black Girl Magic Riesling. This is a 2018 California sourced wine. Let me give you some little notes from the website.
Ooh, before you do that, can I say the notes for this?
Oh, absolutely.
They have notes on the back of the
oh, even better. Hold on, let me get my wine glass so that it's aesthetic.
Oh, can I read the whole thing? I need to read the whole label. It's really, really sweet. Unaware that the other existed. I told you. Crap shit. Hold, please. Quiet on the set.
Okay.
We were raised in wine regions of California and New Zealand, which is amazing, independently developing an appreciation for the craft of winemaking. Despite the 7,000 miles between us, we eventually found each other. This collection, which unites our parallel lives and passion for wine, represents a true palette of place.
I love that.
Our sense is proof of the bond that can form over a bottle of wine, which I've
heard
bonded
that
with many people over a bottle of wine.
Some people I didn't like.
A truth that comes to life with every McBride Sisters wine. This complex sparkling wine expresses crisp acidity with aromas of strawberries and cream, red cherry, and floral notes.
Ooh. We are excited to try more Black owned brands, dip a toe, spend our money where our mouth is. One more time. Dip a toe. Yes, giving you
what we're trying to say is support Black women. You know, maybe one day, my mom sent me this entire list of Indian wine, which I'm very nervous about. She had a much better reaction than mine. Maybe one day we'll try that. I don't know.
But to be fair, someone was like, this is Dominican wine. I'm like, do I know the Dominican that made this wine? Because that's the only way.
But yes, what we're trying to say is support the Black dollar.
Yes.
Do your research, baby,
Yes.
because put your money where your mouth is all the time.
And go for brands that are proactive, that have done the work and not reactive. This is a Black woman-owned business that has been around for 14, 15 years. So support them, baby.
Yes.
Yes. So let us know if you're drinking any Black wine brands, or if you just drinking, baby. Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.